Min-jun returned to his penthouse earlier than expected. The overseas acquisition had concluded faster than anticipated, leaving him exhausted but satisfied. As CEO of Hanseong Group, his days blurred into endless meetings and negotiations. His marriage to Yuna had been arranged 3 years ago, a union between powerful families. She appeared perfect in public, graceful, educated, impeccably dressed. He inserted his keycard quietly, not wanting to disturb anyone. The marble foyer gleamed under crystal chandeliers. His mother lived with them, recovering from a stroke that left her partially paralyzed. His younger sister, Soo-ah, 22 and studying art, visited frequently to care for her. Min-jun loosened his tie, heading toward the living room. He heard voices, sharp, cruel. He paused. "Look at you, pathetic old woman." Yuna's voice dripped with venom. "Drooling on yourself like an animal. You think you deserve to live in this luxury? You're nothing but a burden." Min-jun's blood ran cold. He moved silently toward the sound. "Please, sister-in-law," Soo-ah's trembling voice pleaded. "Mother needs her medication. She's in pain." "Let her suffer," Yuna laughed coldly. "And you, calling me sister? You're just a charity case. Your brother keeps you around out of pity, a failed artist living off his generosity." Through the doorway's gap, Min-jun witnessed the scene. His mother sat hunched in her wheelchair, tears streaming down her face. Soo-ah knelt beside her, trying to comfort her. Yuna stood over them both, arms crossed, face twisted in contempt. His wife raised her hand, and Soo-ah flinched. The slap never came, but the threat hung heavy. Min-jun's jaw clenched. 3 years. How long had this been happening? His heart shattered as his mother's helpless whimper reached his ears. Everything he believed about his marriage dissolved in that single, terrible moment. Min-jun stepped into the living room. The temperature seemed to drop. Yuna spun around, her expression transforming instantly from monster to devoted wife. The mask slipped into place with practiced ease. "Darling, you're home early." She moved toward him, arms outstretched. He sidestepped her embrace, eyes fixed on his mother and sister. Soo-ah's face was pale, tear-stained. His mother couldn't meet his gaze, shame and fear evident in every line of her body. "How long?" His voice was quiet, controlled, deadly. Yuna's smile faltered. "How long what, darling? I was just helping." "How long?" Each word fell like a hammer. Soo-ah stood slowly, protectively positioning herself between their mother and Yuna. Her hands shook. "Oppa, please, it's nothing." "Don't protect her," Min-jun cut her off gently. He looked at his sister. Really looked, the shadows under her eyes. The way she held herself smaller, diminished, the fading bruise on her wrist barely covered by her sleeve. His mother made a sound, half sob, half moan. Her good hand reached toward him. Min-jun knelt beside her wheelchair, taking her trembling hand. "Ioma, I'm here now. I'm so sorry, I should have seen." His voice cracked. Yuna's facade crumbled. "This is ridiculous. They're manipulating you. I've been nothing but patient with your mother's condition and your sister's constant presence." I heard everything. Min-jun stood, his 6-foot frame towering. Every word, every threat. The color drained from Yuna's face. For the first time since their marriage, she looked uncertain, afraid. "Pack your things," he said quietly. "You're leaving tonight." "You can't divorce me. Our families, the scandal, your company's reputation. Watch me." His tone brooked no argument. The powerful CEO who commanded boardrooms had awakened, and he would protect his family, whatever the cost. Min-jun called his assistant immediately. Within an hour, his personal lawyer and head of security arrived at the penthouse. Yuna had retreated to the master bedroom, making frantic phone calls. Her family's influence meant little against Hanseong Group's power, but she would fight desperately. He sat with his mother and sister in the smaller living room. A family doctor examined his mother, documenting her malnourishment and medication irregularities. Suah finally spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. "It started 6 months after your wedding," she began, hands clasped tightly in her lap. "Small things at first, comments about mother being a burden, how I should stop visiting so often. Then it escalated." Min-jun listened, his expression carved from stone, though his heart bled with every revelation. "She would wait until you left for work. Sometimes she'd withhold mother's medication for hours, saying she forgot. She'd serve her food, but place it just out of reach, mock her when she struggled to eat." His mother wept silently. Min-jun held her hand, his grip gentle but firm. "And you, Suah?" His sister's composure cracked. "She called me worthless, said my art was garbage, that I was leeching off your success. Her voice broke. "She'd push me sometimes. Accidentally knocked me down the stairs once. I told you I tripped." Min-jun remembered. He'd been concerned but accepted the explanation. Guilt crushed his chest. "She made us promise not to tell you. Said you'd never believe us over her. That we'd destroy your happiness. That the scandal would ruin Hansong Group." Suah's tears flowed freely now. "We were so scared, Oppa. So scared of disappointing you." He pulled his sister into his arms, then carefully embraced his mother's fragile form. His family, terrorized under his own roof while he'd been blind. The lawyer, Mr. Park, worked methodically. "We need irrefutable evidence for the divorce proceedings. Mrs. Kang's family will fight this aggressively." Min-jun nodded. "Start with the household staff. They must have witnessed things." Security footage review began immediately. The penthouse had cameras in common areas. Min-jun had installed them for security, never imagining they'd document domestic abuse. His head of security, Mr. Choi, compiled the recordings. The footage was damning. Yuna shoving Suah against a wall, deliberately spilling hot tea near his mother's wheelchair, screaming obscenities when she thought she was alone with them. The timestamps showed a pattern spanning nearly 2 years. "Why didn't anyone tell me?" Min-jun asked his housekeeper, Mrs. Kim, a woman who'd worked for his family for decades. She bowed deeply, tears streaming. "She threatened us, sir, said she'd have us fired, blacklisted." "Some of us have families depending on these positions. We're so sorry, so ashamed." Min-jun felt his anger redirect. Not at them. They were victims too. At himself, for creating an environment where people feared losing everything if they spoke truth. "You'll all receive bonuses and my apologies," he said firmly. "Your jobs are secure. I need you to provide written statements of everything you've witnessed." The staff complied immediately, relief evident on their faces. Dr. Han, the family physician, presented his findings. "Your mother shows signs of prolonged stress and nutritional deficiency. The medication schedule has been irregular, compromising her recovery. There are also older bruises, suggesting repeated physical interactions that weren't gentle care." Min-jun's jaw clenched. The monster had hidden behind his wife's beautiful face, and he'd been too consumed with business to notice his family's suffering. Yuna's parents arrived at midnight, her father red-faced with fury. Chairman Kang had built his real estate empire through ruthlessness. He saw the marriage as a business merger, nothing more. "This is preposterous," he shouted in Min-jun's study. "Our families have agreements. You can't simply discard my daughter like trash." Min-jun remained seated, fingers steepled. "Your daughter abused my disabled mother and assaulted my sister. I have documented evidence. This marriage is over." Yuna's mother, a former actress, deployed tears. "Surely there's been a misunderstanding. Yuna would never—" "I witnessed it personally. I have security footage, medical reports, staff testimony." Min-jun's voice was ice. Would you like to see the video of your daughter shoving my 22-year-old sister down the stairs? Chairman Kang's bluster deflated slightly. We can compensate. This isn't negotiable. Min-jun stood, his presence dominating the room. The divorce will proceed. Quietly, if you cooperate, or publicly, with all evidence submitted to court and media, your choice. Yuna burst into the study, her mother's practiced tears replaced by genuine ones. Min-jun, please, I'll change. I was stressed, I made mistakes, but I love you. He looked at her dispassionately. The woman he'd married, or thought he'd married, was a stranger. Perhaps she'd always been. You terrorized vulnerable people under my protection. There's no coming back from that. Our families will destroy each other, Chairman Kang threatened. Min-jun smiled without warmth. Hanseong Group's market value is triple yours. Our legal team is better. Our connections deeper. Don't test me, Chairman Kang. Take the quiet divorce. It's more than your daughter deserves. The room fell silent. Power had spoken, and power had decided. 3 days later, Yuna was gone. The divorce proceedings moved forward with remarkable speed. Money and influence had their advantages. Min-jun had offered a generous settlement on one condition: absolute silence and no contact with his family. Chairman Kang, recognizing the alternative was public humiliation and potential criminal charges, agreed. Min-jun cleared his schedule, working from home. His mother needed him. Soo-ah needed him. The company could survive without his constant presence. His family couldn't. He hired a new live-in nurse, Ms. Lee, who came with impeccable credentials and a gentle demeanor. She began proper physical therapy with his mother, following Dr. Han's revised treatment plan. Within a week, small improvements appeared. His mother's eyes held less fear, more hope. Soo-ah remained skittish. Trauma didn't evaporate with the abuser's departure. Min-jun arranged therapy sessions with Dr. Yoon, a specialist in domestic abuse recovery. He attended some sessions himself, learning how to support his sister properly. One morning, he found Soo-ah in her old room. She'd moved back into the penthouse temporarily. She was painting for the first time in months. The canvas showed abstract shapes in blues and grays, turbulent but beautiful. It's good to see you create again, he said softly from the doorway. She turned, brush in hand. I forgot I could. She made me believe I had no talent, that I was wasting everyone's time. Min-jun entered the room, studying the painting. You're brilliant, Soo-ah. I'm sorry I didn't tell you enough. Sorry I didn't see what was happening. You're here now. She managed a small smile. That's what matters. They stood together in comfortable silence, brother and sister rebuilding what had been broken. 2 weeks after Yuna's departure, the penthouse intercom buzzed. Min-jun answered, surprised to hear a woman's unfamiliar voice. Delivery for CEO Kang Min-jun, personal and confidential. Security cleared her. She arrived carrying a simple white box and an envelope. Young, perhaps 25, with kind eyes and nervous hands. I'm Ji-won, she introduced herself, bowing. I worked as Yuna's personal assistant until last year. I heard about the divorce. I needed to bring you this. Min-jun accepted the box and envelope cautiously. What is this? Evidence I collected while working for her. Recordings, messages, photos. Ji-won's voice shook. I tried to help your family. I'd leave extra food where your mother could reach it. I'd warned Soo-ah when Yuna was in a particularly bad mood, but I couldn't do enough without risking my position. She paused, gathering courage. Yuna fired me when she caught me checking on your mother after a particularly bad incident. She threatened to sue me, ruin my career. I was terrified, but I kept copies of everything, thinking someday it might matter. Min-jun opened the envelope. Inside were printed messages, photos of bruises, audio files time-stamped and catalogued meticulously. More evidence, more documented cruelty. Why bring this now? He asked. because I heard she might contest the divorce, fight for more settlement. I couldn't let her win again. Ji-won met his eyes. Your family didn't deserve what she did. No one did. Min-jun bowed deeply, a gesture of respect and gratitude. Thank you. This takes courage. Ji-won smiled sadly. I should have had courage sooner. I'm sorry I didn't. After she left, Min-jun added the evidence to his lawyer's files. Justice would be thorough. 6 weeks post-divorce, Min-jun's mother had improved remarkably. Her speech, limited since the stroke, was slowly returning. One evening, Ms. Lee helped her into the living room where Min-jun and Soo-ah were having tea. Talk, she managed, the word labored but clear. Min-jun immediately sat beside her. Iyama, don't strain yourself. She shook her head stubbornly. With great effort, she formed words. My fault, sorry. No, Min-jun said firmly. None of this was your fault. Should have told you. Each word was a battle, was ashamed, weak. Soo-ah knelt beside the wheelchair, taking their mother's hand. You weren't weak, Mother. You were hurt and scared. We both were. Their mother's eyes filled with tears. Bad daughter-in-law. I chose wrong. Min-jun understood. His parents had encouraged the marriage to Yoona, seeing it as beneficial for the company and family status. His mother carried guilt for that endorsement. You couldn't have known, he said gently. She fooled everyone. She was an expert manipulator. His mother touched his face with her good hand, a gesture of love and sorrow. My son, good man, deserve better. I have better, Min-jun said, his voice thick with emotion. I have you. I have Soo-ah. That's enough. They sat together, 3 people who'd survived a nightmare, learning to trust in daylight again. Ms. Lee quietly withdrew, giving them privacy for tears and healing words. His mother's voice would return fully, the doctors predicted. But even these halting words meant everything. She was reclaiming what had been stolen, her dignity, her voice, her place in her son's life. The family was reassembling itself, piece by careful piece. Min-jun's lawyer, Mr. Park, uncovered more disturbing information. Yoona had been embezzling from the household accounts, small amounts, carefully disguised, totaling over 200 million won. She'd also been conducting an affair with a business rival, potentially leaking company information. We could press criminal charges, Mr. Park advised during their meeting. Embezzlement, corporate espionage, assault. The evidence is overwhelming. Min-jun considered this carefully. Part of him wanted maximum punishment. But another part wanted simply to be done with her, to let his family move forward without prolonged legal battles. What would criminal proceedings require from my mother and sister? Testimony, cross-examination, media attention. Despite our best efforts, it could take months, possibly years. Min-jun thought of his mother's fragile recovery, Soo-ah's ongoing therapy, more trauma, more stress. Offer Chairman Kang a deal, he decided. Full financial restitution, including the embezzled funds plus damages. Yoona signs a comprehensive NDA with severe financial penalties for breach. She agrees to psychological evaluation and treatment. In exchange, no criminal charges. Mr. Park nodded approvingly. Wise. We maintain leverage indefinitely while your family gets peace. The Kang family accepted within 24 hours. They understood Min-jun was being merciful. Chairman Kang personally delivered the restitution check, his pride visibly wounded. My daughter needs help, he admitted quietly, a rare moment of parental honesty. We didn't raise her to be cruel. Somewhere, something broke inside her. Thank you for not destroying her completely. Min-jun accepted this with a simple nod. He felt no satisfaction in their defeat, only relief that justice had been served without requiring his family to relive their trauma publicly. Sua's art exhibition opened 2 months later. Min-jun had encouraged her to pursue her dream, providing financial backing and gallery connections. But the work was entirely hers, raw, emotional paintings exploring themes of captivity, liberation, and resilience. The gallery filled with Seoul's art elite. Critics studied her pieces with genuine interest. Collectors placed bids. Sua stood nervously in a corner, overwhelmed. "Your work speaks truthfully," a distinguished older woman said, approaching her. "Pain transformed into beauty, quite remarkable for someone so young." Sua bowed. "Thank you. I had to rediscover my voice." Min-jun watched from across the room, pride swelling in his chest. His sister had survived and was now thriving. Her talent, which Yuna had tried to destroy, was being recognized and celebrated. Their mother attended in her wheelchair, Ms. Lee by her side. She couldn't speak much, but her smile radiated joy. Several pieces sold that evening. Gallery owners requested future collaborations. Later, as they drove home, Sua turned to Min-jun. "I never thought I'd feel happy again, safe again." "You deserve both," he replied. "Always." She hesitated, then spoke softly. "I've been thinking about moving into my own apartment. Not because I'm ungrateful, but because I need to prove to myself I can." Min-jun understood. Healing required independence, not just protection. "Whenever you're ready, I'll help you find the perfect place." Sua leaned against his shoulder. "Thank you, Oppa, for everything, for seeing, for believing us, for fighting for us." "Always," he repeated. His family was reclaiming their lives, and nothing mattered more than that. Word of Min-jun's divorce had spread through business circles. Rumors circulated, some true, most wildly exaggerated. His handling of the situation became a litmus test for Seoul's elite. At a board meeting, one of Hanseong Group's oldest directors, Chairman Lee, addressed him directly. "The gossip suggests you divorced Yuna over a family dispute. Some see this as weakness, putting personal feelings above business alliances." Min-jun met his gaze steadily. "She abused my disabled mother and assaulted my sister. I have documented evidence." "That's not a family dispute. It's criminal behavior I chose to handle privately to protect my family from further trauma." The room fell silent. Chairman Lee nodded slowly. "Then you showed strength, not weakness. A man who won't protect his family won't protect his company. I support you fully." Other board members murmured agreement. The Kang family's business alliance had been profitable, but not irreplaceable. Min-jun's integrity and decisiveness, however, were invaluable. After the meeting, several executives approached him privately. One confided his own sister had suffered domestic abuse. Another mentioned his daughter's controlling husband. Min-jun's actions had given them courage to address their own family situations. He realized his very public divorce had become more than personal justice. It was a statement. Power should protect the vulnerable, not exploit them. Success meant nothing if it required tolerating cruelty. The business community's respect for him grew. Hanseong Group's stock remained stable, then climbed. Investors appreciated a CEO with clear moral boundaries. New partnerships emerged with companies valuing ethical leadership. Min-jun had worried the scandal might damage everything he'd built. Instead, it revealed the strength of his true foundations. 3 months after the divorce, Min-jun encountered Ji-won again at a charity gala. She attended as an event coordinator, having started her own small company organizing high-profile functions. "Your business is doing well," he observed, having noticed her name on the event materials. She smiled, more confident than during their first meeting. "Leaving Yuna's employment was terrifying, but it freed me to build something honest." They talked throughout the evening. Ji-won's kindness and courage impressed him. She'd risked everything to collect evidence and ultimately deliver it when it mattered most. Her small acts of mercy toward his mother and sister had made impossible situations slightly more bearable. "Would you consider consulting for Hansong Group?" he asked. "We're planning a major charity initiative. Your expertise would be valuable." Ji-won hesitated. "I don't want you to feel obligated because I helped. I'm asking because you're talented and principled, two qualities I value highly." They began working together professionally. Ji-won's events were meticulously organized, elegant yet warm. She understood how to create meaningful experiences, not just impressive spectacles. Min-jun found himself looking forward to their planning meetings. Soo-ah noticed, teasing him gently. "She's kind and pretty, Oppa, and she already knows our family's worst moments and didn't run away." Min-jun laughed, but the observation wasn't wrong. Ji-won had seen his family at their most vulnerable and responded with compassion. Trust, he was learning, could be built on such foundations. He wasn't ready for romance. His divorce wounds were still fresh. But friendship, that was possible. And perhaps someday, something more. 6 months after Yuna's departure, Min-jun's mother had recovered significantly. Her speech had returned, though occasionally labored. Physical therapy had restored much of her mobility. She could walk short distances with a cane, her independence gradually returning. One evening, she asked Min-jun to sit with her in the garden terrace. The Seoul skyline glittered below them, the city alive with lights. "I watch you with Ji-won," she began, her voice steady. "You smile again. Real smiles." Min-jun felt his ears warm. "Yoma, we're just colleagues." She gave him the look mother's perfect, part amusement, part knowing wisdom. "I was married 40 years. I know the difference between just colleagues and something more." He sighed, unable to hide from her perception. "After Yuna, I'm cautious. What if I'm wrong again?" His mother took his hand. "Yuna deceived everyone, but Ji-won showed her character. When she had nothing to gain and everything to lose, she helped us when we were helpless. She brought you evidence when she could have stayed safely silent. Character reveals itself in darkness, not light," she continued. "Ji-won's character is clear. Don't let Yuna's poison make you afraid of genuine goodness." Min-jun absorbed this, his mother's words settling deep. She was right. Ji-won had proven herself in the hardest ways possible. "There's no rush," his mother added. "Heal first, but when you're ready, don't close your heart because one person was cruel. The world still holds kind people. Ji-won is one of them." She patted his hand, then stood carefully, refusing his help. Her independence was a point of pride now. Min-jun sat alone in the garden, considering his mother's blessing and his own healing heart. 1 year after discovering the truth, Min-jun hosted a small dinner party. His mother, fully recovered, moved gracefully through the penthouse she'd once feared. Soo-ah attended with her boyfriend, a fellow artist she'd met through gallery connections. Ms. Lee remained part of the household, now more companion than nurse. Ji-won arrived with the final charity gala reports. She'd become a regular presence in their lives, her warmth and competence making her indispensable professionally and personally. During dinner, Soo-ah announced her upcoming solo exhibition in Paris. Their mother beamed with pride. The conversation flowed easily, punctuated by laughter and shared memories. This was what family should feel like: safe, joyful, supportive. Later, Min-jun walked Ji-won to her car. "Thank you for everything this year. Your work, your friendship, it's meant more than you know." She smiled up at him. "Your family means a lot to me too. After witnessing what they endured, seeing them thrive now, it's healing for me as well." Min-jun took her hand, the gesture tentative but sincere. "Would you have dinner with me? Not a business meeting, just us." Ji-won's eyes sparkled. "I wondered if you'd ever ask." "I needed time to heal." to trust myself again. My mother says character reveals itself in darkness. You showed me yours. I'd like to know more in the light. I'd like that very much. Inside the penthouse, his mother watched from the window, Sua beside her. They'd survived darkness and emerged stronger. Min-jun had protected them, but they'd protected him too, teaching him that true strength meant vulnerability, forgiveness, and the courage to begin again. The millionaire had come home early one day and discovered a nightmare. But he'd also discovered what truly mattered: family, integrity, and the possibility of genuine love built on truth rather than beautiful lies. Tomorrow held promise, and that was enough.